Welcome into our post-game coverage of South Carolina, Texas A&M. Sports Talk at the stadium from Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, brought to you by the South Carolina Beef Council. South Carolina beats 10th-ranked Texas A&M tonight, 44-20, homecoming night. Overflow crowd of over 80,000 on hand. Oh, what a night it was for the Gamecocks. They did what they did at Oklahoma. They got off to the quick starts. They built the early lead, saw it disappear, tied up at halftime, and then dominated the Aggies in the second half. Held them off the scoreboard, put 24 on the board, ran the ball with reckless abandon. Quarterback Lenora Sellers proved what a potentially great quarterback he can be at South Carolina, displaying his throwing arm, his running power, his ability to break tackles and stay on his feet. Rocket Sanders showing everything Gamecock fans were hoping were getting in him when he transferred from Arkansas. Big runs, yards after contact. South Carolina's offensive line, more physical than Texas A&M, took the fight to the Aggies. The Gamecocks defense up front, more physical than the bigger Texas A&M offensive linemen, took the fight to them. South Carolina played a nearly clean football game. They did have one turnover, very few penalties. So overall, great coaching job from the start, from the head coach down through his coordinators. They had a terrific game plan, and they had their team ready to play. And then the players went out and executed and did so with a lot of confidence tonight. I mean, look, we've seen great performances from South Carolina this season. They just haven't been able to finish. Now, the Oklahoma game was a great performance in some ways. I mean, they were spotted 21 points in the first 9 plays, and they went on and rode that to a victory, though their offense wasn't great. Tonight, the offense put 14 points on the board, scoring on their first possession, and then following that up. They didn't need the defense to score for them. Now, they did lose that lead, and they went into halftime tied. But in the second half, after A&M had the ball first and had momentum coming out of halftime to some degree. I mean, A&M scored late in the half. The Gamecocks came back with a late field goal, but A&M got the ball to start the second half. But they got stopped by the Gamecock defense, and then USC went down and really took this game by the throat and ran away with it in the second half, breaking an 8-game losing streak against ranked teams for South Carolina. So a big night for them in that fashion. 530 yards for the Gamecocks to 350 for the Aggies. The Gamecocks 244 through the air, 286 on the ground. 286 rushing yards for South Carolina against a defense that was one of the best in the SEC in the country against the run. The Gamecocks were just not going to be denied. Sanders had 144 rushing yards. Sellers had 106. And we mentioned the passing by Sellers as well. So the other thing tonight, big plays everywhere. 57 yards, 40 yards, 36 yards, 52, 28, 27, 23 through the air on the ground. They had 15 so-called big plays tonight. Herrera, 3 field goals, 3 for 3, 25, 44, and 43. 3 for 3 in the red zone. Averaged 7.6 yards per snap, the Gamecocks did. So it was a terrific performance all the way around. Demetrius Knight had 11 tackles to lead a very salty Gamecock defense that played excellent coverage on the back end. Twice they turned away A&M on 4th and 1, and then they turned that into 10 points, 1 touchdown and a field goal. So overall, just a great performance tonight for South Carolina. So look here, all of a sudden, the Gamecocks are looking at 4 more games to go here in November, and you look what went on today. Now, Vanderbilt was a nice win for them at Auburn, but still, you're South Carolina. You won this game. You can't take your eye off the ball, but you feel like you can go to Vanderbilt and get a win. Then you come home and you play Missouri, which has been wounded somewhat. You'll see what kind of team they bring to Columbia, but that's always a tough out. Then there's Wofford, and then, Clemson laid a big old egg tonight against Louisville. So things are looking up, looking very positive for this Gamecock football team. And they are the kings. South Carolina, the kings of their own homecoming tonight a storm of the field by the fans, and they enjoyed every moment of that. And I can promise you, South Carolina AD Ray Tanner won't have one bit of problem paying that fine to the SEC as a result of that. 44-20. Gamecocks win it big tonight here in Columbia against Texas A&M. More on all this on our website, sportstalksc.com. Hear from Shane Beamer tomorrow night on his conference call. And, of course, recap everything with you Monday night on Sports Talk. Thanks for checking us out, and we're brought to you by the South Carolina Beef Council.